Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.
Hello, welcome to episode 119 of 15 Minutes of Genius. This is probably going to be one of the more mellow episodes, and I'll have an unveiling and I'll tell you why. But before we do that, we'd like to give a big plug to Mark Nicholas, Mark N at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. He is our producer, he is our man, and soon he's going to get a nice care package of some CBD to his office, and things are going to be vibing around here, pun intended. All right, so without further ado, let's go into our guest here, Jonathan Eppers. He is the CEO of Vybes, which is a lifestyle brand tackling mental health through the power of plants. Jonathan, how are you?
Wow, you nailed that intro. Thanks, Alex. I'm great. I had a great day today.
Thanks, man. I give the credit goes to CBD that I nailed that. Relaxed. When there's less tension, there's more retention. That's what I learned in sales. So,
I actually, that's very true. I actually had my mood drink today, so that's probably why I'm in a good mood.
Nice.
Not the CBD today, but yeah.
Nice, man. What I love about it, and you'll get into it, is that it's more than just CBD. We talked about it offline. More of a lifestyle, more about mental health, physical health. Let's get into that. I'm not going to steal your thunder. Tell us more about the brand that you're building, which is Vybes.
Well, as you said, kind of when you introduced me, we see ourselves as a lifestyle brand tackling mental health. And we're tackling that through the power of plants and the ritual experience of beverage. There's something about beverage that people really get behind and gravitate towards in a way that they don't with other food products. And I feel like plants in particular lend themselves well to that format. So really got into this on accident. My background is tech. I was working at some consumer tech companies. Some may have heard of MySpace, long time ago out of college, eHarmony, and most recently RadPad, which was a rental marketplace business I started with two other guys before I came to Vybes.
Very cool. And so starting this company, which I remember meeting you at the coffee festival 3.5 years ago when you first started Vybes, and it just kind of hit the scene and went to a lot of different locations, a lot of coffee shops, obviously. I remember listening to your story on a podcast when I was driving in Culver City. Fascinating story about why you started it, where it's really coming from, what was your life experience before Vybes, how this brand really changed your life. Love for you to share that with our viewers on that experience.
Sure. Well, let me just say, I've never been like a mental health champion or advocate. I kind of just live my life and stay in my own lane and just focus on what's in front of me. And often, and prior to Vybes, that was often not my mental health. That was my businesses and the things I was doing for myself and for people who worked for me. And so I started RadPad in 2012. It was a rental marketplace business, find apartments, rent them through our product. We were doing very well until our biggest competitor, Craigslist, came along and sued us. And I thought we would get this resolved very quickly. Certainly Craigslist had other intentions, and it nearly almost destroyed my company. So I went from sort of being at a very high to a very low within a matter of a couple of months. And that took my mental health on a rapid decline. And fortunately, we were able to sell the company, and it's still around today. But I didn't come along after the company was acquired with the company who bought us. And so I kind of came out of that experience really, really down on myself, confused at what had happened. And a friend of mine, seeing that I was not in a good place mentally, said I should try CBD. And this is back in 2016, before anyone really knew what CBD was. And I went down to EREWHON, got some CBD oil, because I thought EREWHON, if EREWHON has it, it's got to be good. So I went down there and got it.
That's their tagline, right? It's like, if it's here, it's good for you, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I believe that. So I bought into that, went in there, asked the girl if they had any CBD. She took me to the shelf. It was the only supplement that was locked up, which I thought was interesting. I mean, they sell thousands of supplements, and it was the only one locked up. and they wouldn't even give it to me. I had to go to the register and pay for it, and then they'd hand it to me. So it really sort of felt medicinal in a way that I'd never experienced in a grocery store. Started taking the CBD oil. It really, really helped. I was taking almost like daily, multiple times throughout the day, put on there a little on my tongue. And then after a couple of months of taking this, I said, okay, I'm putting this off my body for a couple of months. Like, what is this stuff? And that led me down this sort of rabbit hole to what would eventually become Vybes. And it was this idea that we could take this ingredient, which was in a format I didn't think was the most conducive to being sort of available for the masses, and put it into, a great tasting beverage that somebody could drink with them anywhere. I mean, I would never take out the tincture and put the CBD under my tongue in front of anybody. It was always done in privacy. But with beverage, I felt, people would drink the beverage and they would not be embarrassed to do that in front of other people. And so the crazy story about this whole thing was when I was putting this beverage together and I came out with it, I had no experience in beverage. I just knew what I thought tasted great. People in the beverage industry that I knew said, you'll never sell an $8 drink, which at the time is what we're selling for. And no one knows what CBD is. You have to spend a lot of time marketing that to people. And I found the complete opposite to be true. The second we put the beverage into the market, or I put the beverage in the market because I was the only one doing this when I launched it, like I couldn't make enough of it. It'd fly off the shelf. And stores that told me it would never sell in their store because no one would buy it were suddenly calling me and being like, I need another order, after I just dropped off an order earlier in the day. So it was kind of this crazy thing that was happening. And as that was happening, it was essentially rebuilding my confidence in myself, because my confidence was very wounded and sort of depressed from my experience with my last startup, RadPad. And so every store that took my drinks, put them on the shelf, and then stores calling me and saying, hey, it is selling. You're right. People do want this. It was like slowly and then quickly rebuilding my confidence. And so I feel very grateful to CBD. It sort of gave me my life back.
Wow. It's a really, really powerful story. And I come from and I've said this before on this show and in other interviews, but I've suffered from anxiety for 25 years, since I was a kid. Sometimes couldn't even sit at the dinner table. I would get anxiety just being around other people. And I'd go to my room, and it was just really, and just really, really not a tough childhood, but tough glimpses, right? As I didn't have a bad life at all, but it was tough. And so growing up, there's still that part of me, right? That's never really going to go away, where I'm introverted, but also I can be very extroverted at the same time. And so finding relaxing herbs from nature has been the one thing that has really helped me, whether it's magnesium, whether it's CBD, whether it's terpenes. I took some terpenes right before this interview. All these things really, really help without damaging the body at all. And the thing that, not to talk too much here, but the one thing that I notice is that people, drink alcohol or find different ways to kind of stop the stress. But I find that CBD is a really healthy way to do that, which I love about it. So it's just a great ingredient. Now, you have the Mind and Body Elixir as well, right? Beyond just CBD. Tell us more about what went into creating that, and how is it doing compared to your CBD line?
Yeah, so when I started Vybes, like I always sort of envisioned this idea that we would get into more than CBD. I had no idea when that timeline would happen, but the challenge with CBD, and I'll answer your question about how we got an adaptogen, but the challenge with CBD is that it's been hard to grow outside of what's considered in this industry, the up and down street business. So these are like coffee shops, cafes, natural food stores, kind of smaller. If you really want to sort of grow your company and create something that a lot of people have access to, you've got to be in the bigger grocery stores, the Whole Foods, the Sprouts, the Wegmans. Mm-hmm. And that was very difficult for us to do with CBD. It still is, because of sort of some uncertainty federally with where CBD falls. And so last year when COVID happened, it really affected our retail business. It affected 90% of the retailers that carry my drinks, because they were shut down for some of these guys many months. When they did reopen, they weren't letting people come in. So people couldn't go in and grab a beverage. They'd have to walk up to the front door and order. And oftentimes they were just ordering what they needed. So it really hurt the business. And I started thinking around this time, like, I've got to innovate and come up with something else. And I had been experimenting for probably about a year and a half with a couple other what I call plant derivatives or plant functionals, the term we use internally. Essentially, ingredients that are derived from a plant that have some sort of functional benefit for the human body. And that was things like ashwaghanda, rhodiola, L-Theanine is a big one I was playing around with, elderberry for immunity. And so I started putting stuff together and came up with this new line, which we're calling a mood line. It's our mood enhancer. We initially came out with it a couple months ago and put on the front of the label mood or mind and body elixir, but it's now going to say mood enhancer. It's just because it's more clear to the consumer. I think
great move. Great marketing move.
Yeah. And so I started working on it in the summer of 2020. This one was a lot more challenging for me than the CBD line because I wanted to create something that didn't copy the success of the CBD line, but sort of gave the market something new that they hadn't seen before. And that was sort of a complete reimagination of what this beverage would look like, how it tastes, how it would function. And that just took me some time to sort of figure that out and make that happen. As you probably know, Alex, a beverage, there's a lot of constraints to making a beverage. I think most entrepreneurs, including myself, when I started this, I had no idea that you just can't take whatever's in your imagination and make it happen. Co-packers can only produce certain types of products. Certain types of ingredients don't work with certain types of processes. Shipping glass versus shipping plastic or aluminum. So all these constraints considered, I had to kind of work under those conditions. But long story short, I came up with this line. I think it's my best work. I drink the mood line every day. I'm more of a sparkling beverage drinker than I am a flat beverage. Our CBD line is flat. And we launched it this past July, kind of very slowly at first. We tested it out in a couple markets and a couple key retailers to see how it performed. We got some really quick feedback from the market. One being people didn't know why they needed to drink the beverage. Mind and Body Elixir, which is what's said on the front of the bottle, was very vague and broad. So that's where we went to the mood enhancer. And two, people couldn't see the bottle because it's an amber bottle that we had screen printed, which the screen printed looked premium and high end, which is what we wanted, but you couldn't see it on the shelf. So we just put a label on it. So we fixed the front of it and put a label on it. I think that's going to help a lot. And how does it compare to my CBD line? The adaptogen beverages actually do well. It's only been in the market 4 months. We've sold, I know we don't share this, but I'll share with you. We've sold about 25,000 cases of it in a couple months. It just got into Wegmans. Just got picked up by natural grocers. So it's doing the things that we were hoping it would do, which is expand our market share. And that's really sort of how I look at this is, I see what we make is helping expand the category by offering people more options. Some people don't believe in CBD. Some people CBD, they don't feel like I do. We don't know why that is, but maybe they feel ashwagandha. Maybe L-Theanine is more effective for them than CBD. And so these ingredients share similar properties. So we see it as sort of expanding this functional category that's sort of developing quickly.
Exactly. You're kind of crossing the aisle where CBD, although a big category, is also niche in a way where there's going to be people that just don't want to try it. They think it's, maybe involved, they think, oh, is it marijuana or whatever. They're not educated on it. So you're never going to get all the people, right? You're going to get people that know what CBD is and you're curious and they want to try it, or the diehards that just love CBD. So going into more functionality as your brand, as a platform, which is, you don't have to have CBD, but these drinks help you, make you feel better, make you relaxed, help you through your day. That's really, I think, the mission that I see, with your brand, right? It's how it makes you feel at the end of the day. The one thing that I will point out, because I witnessed the roaring launch of your Vybes drink, right? And we're going back to the CBD for a second. That one thing I wanted to say is that I remember when it hit EREWHON. I remember when it hit like other key accounts. I'm trying to remember, like maybe Bristol. There was some other accounts I remember seeing it in, and a lot of coffee shops. This goes to show you that what Jonathan has built, just talking to our viewers, like you don't have to have thousands of stores. He has incredible velocity in less stores because he can't go everywhere with a CBD drink. And I saw it, it was real. The velocity, I mean, Jonathan, you're probably moving, I would guess 15, 20 plus units per week, per flavor, per store. I mean, like that's how you build a business, is velocity per store, not just launching into 10,000 stores and moving one bottle a week. That's what you guys experience. I mean, massive movement in the stores that you're in. At least that's what I noticed, like from my.
You know, you're right about that with the CBD line. When I put it into the market, it flew off the shelves in a way. Like I was new to this business, and I didn't know if this was normal, to be honest with you. And as I would, really what I would hear is I'd hear from a small store owner, but I really like for example, an Alfred's Coffee and Tea in Los Angeles, which is a really hip coffee chain,
so popular.
And Josh called me, the owner, and said, John, like, I don't know what the hell you're selling, but I can't sell enough of this stuff. And, can I invest in your company? And it was just like, what? You mean, this is doing better than other drinks you have in there, and other drinks that we know and that I really respect. And he's like, I don't know if this is how long it's going to last, but it was crazy. And it's really been like that, to be honest with you, on this line since it came into the market. And there's been a lot more competitors that have come into the market. There's been challenges with the legality of CBD, and that's put pressure on the industry. But all in all, it's just been really, I've been really grateful and really blessed to see how well this has been received by consumers. And I think that, to be honest with you, it's just because we're hitting on something that was sort of missing within beverage. And I think that was making something. Most beverages, when they come into the shelves, they're very loud. There's stuff all over them. We put something in the market that looked very subtle, very sort of, we wanted something very medicinal, which you don't typically see in beverage, especially in our category, RTDs. And so we put something out. I think it just hit with the consumer. I think consumers were like overwhelmed. We live in an age of excess and overabundance, and there's just so much stuff that consumers have to choose from. And here comes something that looks nothing like anything that's on the market. And it was definitely a risk. In fact, funny story is when I first took it to EREWHON, it was in the first month I launched it. That was the store I wanted to be in. It was the store that got me into this business. The CBD came, I first came from EREWHON. I wanted my drinks to be in there. And I walked in and they looked at it and they like, it tastes really good, but did you make this in your home kitchen? Or like, is this printed on your computer printer, like this label?
Right.
I mean, it looks very homemade. And it was like, they were uncomfortable with it. And I got a lot of that type of feedback early on, like, hey, this doesn't resonate with me. Like the packaging's off. But it didn't really matter what the buyer thought. It really just mattered what the consumer thought. And it required the buyer to trust me, to trust my product, and give me a chance on the shelf. Unfortunately, a lot of buyers did, because I gave them free product.
Exactly. You got to get in. Well, I would say those two cases of free product to every EREWHON, or the free fill that they require, I would say that paid off pretty big. What you put on the shelf for the free fill moved probably in 1 or 2 days, and you're like, okay, now I can start selling my product to the stores. It just moved really quick. I want Mark to pull up the label again, because again, we're going to get to the next segment because we're running out of time, Jonathan, but it's amazing how simple this product is. And it goes to show you don't have to have a loud product. The product tells you what it is immediately, like with as minimal lines, minimal graphics. When I first saw it, I didn't really know what to think. I wasn't like, is this going to be great or bad? I had no dog in the race because I just didn't know enough about the CBD or that kind of industry, that category within beverage. But one thing that I knew was like, that caught my eye. Like I noticed it. It's different, a little bit quirky. It caught my eye. And that is literally half the battle. I call it the 10-3-1 rule. Have you heard about this? 10 feet away, you see the product. 3 feet away, it's in your hands. I guess 0 feet away, it's in your mouth. So, and your product really drove people in. This is great. Let's get to our next segment because we are running out of time, and this is called Rapid Fire Questions. Rapid Fire Questions. All right, so we're going to turn up. We're going to turn it up a little more. We were mellow through the episode, like inspirational, passionate, mellow. Now we're going to go just for pure speed here. So I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, and just you'll answer whatever comes to your mind. So CBD was on one side, for the mellow part. Now you have the mood enhancer for the other part. So it's helping you through the interview for both. So
Let's do it.
All right. First question. For music, which decade is the best? The 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Definitely the 80s, no question.
Have to agree with you there. What do you do for exercise?
Well, I just actually came back from the gym. So
cool.
I work out 7 days a week, typically like lifting weights, and then I run on 3 days a week.
Right on. Awesome, man. Love running. I can't lift weights. I wish I could, but it's just not my jam.
Come anytime. I'll teach you how to lift.
Nice, man. Because you're in West Hollywood, so yeah, you're local. So there you go.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'll be the reason to have me next to you lifting is that you'll look even better when I can't lift.
hey, we all got to start somewhere, 90% is just showing up.
Exactly. So, movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times.
Because we're in the season. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Exactly. Was that the one where like Chevy Chase? I don't think it is. Where he's like, "This is crazy. This is crazy." That was a different one, right?
Yeah, I think it was a different one. That's Cousin Eddie and Beverly D'Angelo's in it. Elaine from Seinfeld, the next door neighbor. She's crazy.
Yep.
It's like an all-time classic Christmas movie.
Love it. Yeah, I gotta see that again. We're getting into that season. We're taping this right around the holidays. All right. So chocolate or vanilla? What flavor do you like better?
Ooh, definitely vanilla. I'm a pretty basic guy.
Favorite country to travel to?
I'd have to say South Africa. I've been to South Africa 4 times this year, so it's a great place.
This year?
If you can. This year I've been there 4 times.
Wow. Just visiting like friends. Do you have any family there? What was the reason for just to enjoy South Africa?
Long distance relationship. Very, very long distance.
Yeah. Long, but good. So that's what it's all about. So favorite Star Wars character?
Ooh, I don't really watch a lot of Star Wars, to be honest with you. Although I do love the movie. I'd say Harrison Ford. I know he's not a character, but I was a big Harrison Ford fan growing up. So what did he play? What was his character?
Han Solo.
Han Solo. There you go. Hans is my favorite.
Yeah, no one's answered that yet, but I would have to agree. He's an awesome character. I love. You should go on YouTube. There's the best of Harrison Ford, like interviews that he does, where he's really freaking hilarious. And there was this one interview where this fan, he went on the talk show, right? Like a huge talk show. And the fan brought out a huge Millennium Falcon, the big ship that he rides. And the fan gave it to Harrison Ford. It was like custom built, enormous, gave it to him. Harrison Ford's like, "Oh, this is great." And whoops. And he threw it over his head and it like broke into pieces.
When I was in 7th grade, I had such a big sort of man crush on Harrison Ford that I actually drew him in my art class, and I have the picture hanging up. It's not a picture; it's a piece of it's like a piece of art. It's over here on my wall. I'd pick it up and show you, but it'd be kind of weird. So, but I did draw him when I was a kid.
Love it. Had a man crush as well. I will admit that. So yeah,
who's that? Who's your man crush?
No, Harrison Ford, Han Solo.
Oh, Harrison Ford. Okay, cool.
Yeah, love the guy. So, all right. Next, he has a lot, great personality too. Next one. What is your spirit animal?
Ooh, I'd probably say a dog. I'm a very loyal person to people. Dogs are very loyal to their humans, and I just love dogs. I don't have one because I'm not responsible enough to have one, but I do love dogs.
Love it. Do you like to drive an SUV, a coupe, or a truck?
I live in Los Angeles, so SUV all day. You got to be able to see up over everybody. People in LA drive like a-holes, and you gotta be able to anticipate before you can actually see it. So definitely an SUV.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And then also, do you have the carpool lane, that's even better. SUV and carpool lane is like the nuts in LA. Yeah.
I don't understand why people, on the 10 freeway don't have the fast pass.
I know.
Why would you wait in traffic for an hour when you could pay 50 cents and zoom through it in 20 minutes? I'm like, boggles my mind. So fast pass, an SUV, and you're golden.
Exactly. For food, salty or sweet?
Salty, for sure.
Favorite day of the week and why?
I'd probably say Thursdays, which sounds a little strange. Fridays is a close second, but on Friday it's like you're kind of like that excitement of the weekend is there, but Thursday it's kind of like still building, and there's something about like, hey, tomorrow's Friday, pressure's off. I'm getting ready to start my weekend. It feels like you get a long weekend. By Friday, it's like you're already starting to think about Monday. So I like Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday is my favorite day of the week as well. And you're the first guest to say Thursday. Yeah, well, we filmed the podcast on Thursday. That's part of it. I do look forward to that. But yeah, I like it for the same reasons that you just said. You said well said. I won't even try to top that. All right, so Uber or Lyft?
I used to be Uber all day. I got started with Uber, and so I'm just kind of loyal to Uber. But with COVID, really unhappy with Uber. I switched to Lyft. I think the drivers are nicer on Lyft. Their fares until recently were a little cheaper. So Lyft has got me. They've converted me.
Yeah, Lyft has a nice kind of cool culture to it, like a cool vibe, pun intended, to it. There should be a sponsorship with Lyft and with Vybes. When the driver goes in the car, when the passenger goes in the car, they get like a free Vybes. That'd be badass to have that.
If anyone from Lyft is listening to this podcast, call me because I will make that happen. That's a great idea.
Like it's in the freaking cup holder in the back when you get in, right?
How nice would that be?
Yeah.
That'd be the nicest thing ever.
Like you don't have to drive, so less stress, chill drive, plus you get, CBD drink or an Elixir. So there you go. I would be going in Lyft. I would switch from Uber to Lyft if there was a Vybes drink in the back seat.
Well, let's see if we can make that happen.
CEO of Lyft, hopefully you're listening. We're going to tag this guy on LinkedIn to this episode. Let's do that. All right. Next big idea right here on 15 Minutes of Genius. All right. LeBron James, MJ, or Kobe? Who's your favorite player?
That's tough because I like all three of them. I think they're all just legends in their own right and just downright good guys. I'd probably have to say Michael Jordan simply because I grew up in Indiana. So I was a Bulls fan growing up during the Michael Jordan era, and I loved his documentary on Nike. So Kobe would be a close second, and LeBron James, a far third. So
a far third. I'm there with you too. I great player, skill set through the roof, but yeah, he's different. Terminator 1 or Terminator 2?
I'm embarrassed to say this, but it's been so long, I don't remember. I would say anything with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, I'm down with that. Actually, speaking of Arnold Schwarzenegger, if I turn my camera, you can see this piece of art right there.
Yeah.
See it?
I can't.
It's actually Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That is him? Okay, yeah. You're on a small monitor, but is it like a drawing or illustration or something?
It's actually it's a collage of pornographic images that make up his body. So I won't tell you what all the images are, but from a distance, from 10 feet, Alex, is Arnold Schwarzenegger, but from 3 feet, you see a lot of other
collages.
Things.
Right on. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is great. I love it. All right. Favorite food or drink if you're stuck on a deserted island? You cannot say Genius Juice. You cannot say Vybes.
Gosh, I'd probably say Evian water. I love Evian water, and you need water to survive. And what was the second question? Water or juice and what?
It can be anything. It could be a food or drink. So you answered the question. The drink.
Evian juice, or not juice. Evian is what I would drink for sure.
Got it. Well, that is rapid fire questions with Jonathan Eppers, founder of Vybes, mood enhancer drink, CBD drink. It's a lifestyle drink tackling mental health and for, I forgot the last part, damn it. Tackling mental health.
The power of plants.
Through the power of plants. That's what happens when you record like 4 interviews in a row in the studio. No CBD, not enough CBD in the world or genius juice to power me through 4 episodes. But anyway, so good to have you on, my man, and good to reconnect with you. And yeah, congratulations on just everything you're doing, creating such an innovative, disruptive brand. And can't wait to see what's next with you. So awesome stuff. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, I'm honored to be on the show, Alex. I really look up to you. I think you're an incredible entrepreneur, and it means a lot to me to be invited to be on your show. So thank you very much. Have a great night.
Absolutely. You as well, my friend. You as well. All right. So that is episode 119 of 15 Minutes of Genius. Jonathan Eppers, the founder of Vybes. Make sure to go to his website as well. I'll have it in the comments for you to go there and load up on some awesome drinks, or just go to EREWHON or a lot of coffee shops in LA. You can find it. Probably more than just LA. I think they're national in many different cities. So again, this is 15 Minutes of Genius, episode 119 in the books. Big plug to Mark Nicholas, Mark N. I'm at handbeatstudios.net. He's your guy to do podcasts. He can do videos. He can do audio. He does it all. Make sure to reach out to him. So that's it. And one last thing. What was that? Need to take my CBD and genius juice? That's right. Stay genius, my friends.
Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.